Welcome to the Emerging Professional series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is From Numbers to Narratives, the Data Leader's Journey. We have with us Parswa Jyoti Saikia. He is Global Data Transition Lead at JLL Technologies. We will dive deep into the world of data governance, leadership, and innovation. With an impressive career, Parswa has been into data management, project execution, and people leadership across APAC, EMA, and AMER. Parswa has been at the forefront of shaping organizational data strategies. But beyond the structured world of data, who is Parswa outside of work? Let us discover his personal life, his professional journey, and many more things. So, Parswa, welcome to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you, Amir. I think it's really amazing to be here. And first of all, thank you for just giving me this opportunity to be coming here and speaking in front of you about my experience. It means a lot. But yeah, I hope I take some, takeaways from these sessions as well. It's always good to be in kind of this kind of conversations where you actually talk about your work, you talk about something related to you in personal times. So yeah, I think looking forward for an amazing session today.
Okay. So let me explain you the flow and the format. It is divided into three parts. The professional journey round, second is the personal journey round, and third is a surprise, the rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's a motivation: is your organization cyber healthy? Which will be autographed and sent to you. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, and SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question for you, Paraswa: how has your journey been till date, and any defining moments you had?
Uh, so you talk about my professional journey, right? Or you were talking
Hmm.
like both of them. So I think, yeah,
Professional journey.
I think it's actually a roller coaster, to be honest. Let me start off really before coming to this area. So actually, I started my studies actually from in the graduation. I did my graduation in commerce. Then I did my post-graduation in financial planning. So I always wanted to be kind of a financial planner, a certified financial planner who actually works and knows the finance. But I think destiny is something else for me. When I joined my first organization, so I started my work in operations, and slowly I actually started showing some interest in some technologies. So I think that's kind of the trigger where I changed my, line from being a core financial guy, shifting a career towards something which I have never experienced, but I think I was eagerly waiting for something new to really come up. So that's how actually I moved my career more towards data. And right now it's like 15 years working with data. So it's really amazing. There's so much things that you can learn uh, every day. I would say, there's like, many things to be learned, and there are new things that are just coming on your way. So it's just being amazing for now.
Wow. So, Paraswa, you have worked with different regions and you're a, what do you say, global citizen. You have worked in Asia Pacific, European, American regions. How do different cultures approach data governance and how do you adapt?
Good one. Uh, okay, so I think there would be the regional approach will always be kind of a barrier. I would say, it will never give you an approach to set up a global comprehensive view of things. So and it's actually something kind of a nightmare for any kind of executive to prepare some kind of report. So first and foremost, what we should be really thinking is to have a centralized data governance office. So like you need to have a global approach to look at this thing. This centralized data governance office should be responsible for creating and maintaining global data governance policy and standards. Then I will say probably we should have global data catalogs. which provide a single source of truth for data definitions, lineage, ownerships. Um, Again, I would say good global data quality programs, which establish your global scorecards so that the decision makings are easier. And having said that, you should also, I think, also have regional data stewards. These stewards should be, making sure the compliances are in place. They should be responsible for having looked at both the global and actually if there is any regional, exception that needs to be catered. So I think it is something we should look at that. But for me, I think adoption of a centralized data governance office should be the key for any success in any organization.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's dive deep into the conversation, Paraswa. Your role involves reducing operational errors and improving data quality. What's been your biggest challenge in achieving this?
Uh, okay, so I think I would like to answer this in few points. So uh, biggest resistance, the biggest drawbacks for actually having this program implemented. Firstly, it would be kind of resistance to change. I think most of this organization, when we go and try to implement data governance, first what you see is business will just go and say, no, we are happy what we have. Like probably they will resist you to go ahead and set up any data governance framework because they see this as a disruptor for the business or the stakeholders because it just impacts the entire workflows and framework that it has been worked for them for throughout. The second biggest challenge, I think, what we have seen is actually data that are sitting in different silos. Like you will have different line of businesses in the organization having data sitting in different systems, but they are not connected. So if you want to have a comprehensive view or like you want to have a cross-functional reporting, that will be a very difficult thing. Other than that would be, I think, lack of data standardization. This is something that we focus majorly, uh, work with all these data governance persons to make sure that, they should have a standard approach of really setting up the data elements in the systems, which makes the work easier for, data ingestions. And probably you can have a better way of looking at your informations and decision makings easier. Other than that, I think there would be, of course, human errors. You cannot neglect the fact that there would be human errors where you are working in any operation of things. Data quality monitoring, I think that's something needs to be implemented. These are not there, so I think these are kind of hurdles. Awareness and trainings. I think this is another thing because if you are unaware of certain things, I don't know how would you really, people say I have the data, but who is actually owning that? Who is responsible for creating those data, right? So awareness and trainings are, I think it's very important for an organization, and these are kind of some of the hurdles that comes in top of my head for now.
Wow. So, Paraswa, data governance is at the core of your work. What's one common data mistake organizations make and how can they fix it?
Okay, I think the one common mistake every organization or every business generally do is ignoring the fact of data quality. They would just based on my experience. So when we try to go there, they say, "Oh, we have good data," but when you go and involve or try to find out those data, you will find data quality issues. But they will never accept that they have issues with their data. So I think that's one of the biggest core mistake any organizations or any business actually believe that their data are correct, but on the contrary, it's actually not. So I think the more the organization realize the importance of their data literacy, I think more mature the organization will be in terms of data-driven organization. And I think some of the things you asked me, I think how to fix it. So if we really need to fix it, the organization will have to have things like they need to invest in data quality tools and technologies where which will help them to really cater those kind of challenges. Uh, they need to actually work on data quality checks. They need to work on monitoring your data. I think that's these kind of steps. If they start to take at small steps, it will really help them to make a big difference at the end.
Ah. So Paraswa, project management is a key part of your role. What's the most complex project you have handled and how did you navigate it?
Mm. Let me think about that. I think so. Most of the projects that actually I have handled are actually complex in nature, like in whatever context. But let me touch some of the baselines here. Uh, so at JLL, like me and my team is responsible for setting up the right data structure for the client, understanding the data landscape. Uh, is the core of the task. And this basically involves the project, particularly the challenges are like you will have always have time pressure. Uh, you will have diverse stakeholders who may not be aware of data as a data. They may be very specific to their service lines. Um, and some aspects are like really understanding the scope of work. What is the scope of work for that, and how to actually navigate that. So the situations are some things should be really clearly defined. We have technology integrations. That is something kind of we pre-plan those activities in program management, risk management, data quality, metrics. I think these are some of the approaches that we actually take to make sure that the projects runs perfectly and actually meet the deadline that we have for any kind of complex scenario projects.
Wow. Now, from 2024 to 2025, AI is everywhere. So my question will be related to AI. With AI transforming data analytics, do you see AI as a disruptor or an enabler in your field?
I think it's both. Uh, I'll give you an example of both. So I would not say just a disruptor or it's an enabler, but in my view, I will consider slightly more on the positive side, and I will say it's more of an enabler for now because these are actually transforming the approach of how we used to see data. As an enabler, it's actually making us enhancing data processing. To be honest, AI can actually process vast majority of data much faster than any human beings can do. I think enabling more comprehensive and timely analysis. Predictive analysis becomes more easier because with these AI models now getting more accurate than what you used to get. Uh, Based on the historical data, I think the predictive analysis with AI, I think it's actually a great combination to have. Of course, automation. So AI is automation, right? That's how the direction is going at. Routine data tasks, which are kind of in operations now with AI, everything comes under automation. Um, and AI in data quality, I think that's the next big thing. We are going to a direction where AI will definitely change many things in data quality. So I think these are kind of more of an enabler right now. What I can say, disruptor. Maybe I'll not touch many things, but because I always want to be on the positive side. But of course, if I see as a disruptor, many of those traditional data analysis job we wind up because you will get many more AI-driven machines coming and taking over those work. But I think doesn't mean that the human job will go away. It will just be that human job will still there to make sure, but the quality of the job or the task might go further enhanced. With AI as a disruptor, there may be another point about privacy. Data privacy points with AI. I think they may raise some concerns about the privacy and security of how we see that. That needs to be explored in the future, by the way.
Wow. So, Parswa, how has the field of data management evolved over the past decade, and where do you see it leading in the next 5 years?
Uh, I think I would say over the past decade, it has definitely evolved a lot. With the introduction of big data or the cloud technologies, I think these really have to play a bigger role, and they have played a bigger role, and they will play a bigger role, much more bigger role in the future. Like if I talk about, I just touched base viewpoint about automation. We talk about AI, machine learning, so they have a massive role really to play. And back then, 10 years down the line, before, there was not much in AI, or we were talking about any machine learning. They were there, but they have not evolved. But now I think the things are getting really evolved. And another thing with, I think, the technology is moving is with data fabrications. Data fabrication is the kind of a platform which will enable which will enable you to have a unified view regardless of where the data origin is. Like, where is it? If it's maybe in a physical server, it may be in the cloud, or it can be in any digital or any hybrid environment, making it easier to really access and the users, so that the purpose of analytics reporting becomes much more easier. So I think the future is really good, to be honest, with this AI and automation. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how many changes will come.
Wow. So, Paraswa, you have worked at various organizations like BlackRock, AXXL, now to JLL Technologies. What are the biggest learnings from these different industries you gained?
So I think all the organizations that I have worked prior to JLL are actually in different industries. So Excel, that time it was Excel, but then they merged with Kathleen and becomes Excel Kathleen, and recently it was been acquired by Exa. So now the name changed to Exa Excel Kathleen. But when I was there, it was just Excel. So it was an insurance industry. So it was an insurance industry. Then I switched to BlackRock, which was, I think it's more in the asset management. Now I'm in JLL, which is like predominantly a real estate organization. So I think it's an immense learning to learn many things from different industries. There's specific nuances, but one thing which was constant throughout my journey, even in different organizations, was data. So I think the one constant thing and unique thing in all those three was that data. I was working in data almost for my entire career. So if you ask me anything else than data, I probably might not be able to answer you. But yes, data being a key element, and I think it's I would say it's simple for me because you just need to apply logics.
Wow.
But yeah, having said that, there are many tools, as I shared previously also, kind of the tools that I have learned because I was initially from a finance background, coming to a data background, learning tools like SQL, Tableau, Informatica, Colibra. These were just enhancing the skills of any individuals, and I'm so happy that able to learn those things, and probably I'm just keep gonna go and learn more things as I can.
Wow. So, Paraswa, what advice would you give to businesses looking to implement strong data governance frameworks for long-term success?
Advices. Firstly, I think I touched this point in our previous question is prioritizing data literacy. I think that's the first and foremost thing because you need to have people who understand data and its impact, the value that it brings. Investing in trainings programs to improve data literacy across the organization should be the first and foremost thing for any organization to be a data-driven culture, to actually improve the adoption of governance, of data governance practices. Secondly, I would say because data quality being the core of any decision-making process, focus should be really on the data quality implementation. Really, you should start thinking about how to implement data quality programs, improvement areas, because of lack of poor data quality, organization may not be able to have trust in their own business. So I think focus on data quality should be one of another important point anyone wants to invest in data and looking for a long-term solutions. Uh, Other than that, I would say invest in the right tools. Choose data governance tools wisely. There are many in the market. And these tools should really help you to, understand the metadata concept, data quality, data lineage. And other than that, I would say establish clear data ownership and accountability. I think that this is very important to really define roles and responsibilities clearly. You need to appoint data stewards who will be responsible for setting up standards, creating data governance committee with representatives across different departments, uh, align with the business objective. I think you need to firstly make sure that you ties your objective with the organization main framework, because that's how you drive your business strategies and goals. You should have data maturity assessments. You need to understand how your data governance, how if you are in a direction of data-driven organization, how to measure your success. You should have your key KPIs mentioned there, and really plan your data maturity assessment. And lastly, I think that's the main. You need to have your executive buy-in, because unless or until you do not have the funds, I think you will not going to achieve any of those things that I just told you. So I think executive buy-in is going to be the biggest one for any organization to really adopt those. Uh, Remember, one thing that I always heard from our clients is like, okay, you gave us, now we take it, we will handle it. But I think just one thing that I'm gonna tell to the audience here is, data governance is not just one time. It is an ongoing journey. It requires continuous efforts, adoptions and commitment to create truly a truly a data-driven organization. Because if you just implement it once and you forget it, you will not going to see those changes. I think it should be a continuous activity for any organization to really be a data-driven, to bring a data-driven culture.
As a leader, you manage cross-functional teams. What's your approach to building a strong and motivated team?
I think, and this is, I hope my manager sees this episode, that I'm going to answer it in the way that she sees me, and she says that leadership comes very naturally. Uh, Maybe she has some, she has seen something in me, but I think one of the biggest reasons for that is uh, I was a sportsman before, and sports literally teaches you discipline, teamwork and integrity. So in a team, what do you see? So you will have people with different skill sets, like and different mindsets. So as a leader or as a team person, what is my job? So my job is to really understand, who is best at doing that particular task. Like it's very simple, horses for courses, right? And how to achieve that. So how to make sure as a leader I motivate my team. So few things that I generally do, and I think, uh, most of the people, good leaders generally do are like, you really need to make them feel valued. If you do not make any of your employees feel their value, they will not have your trust. You really need to empower them. I think that's one thing. If you make them empowered and make them accountable and responsible, they will make sure they deliver whatever you ask. Other than that, I would say creating a positive work environment, clearly setting up the goals that, listen, I want you to do this, you know, but really not setting up a big task of 12 months, 6 months. Maybe we start tiny. Let's focus on 1 month or 2 months. Should be the target for our next 2 months, right? Share your visions, like, as a leader or as a person, what do we want to achieve? So we should be really sharing our vision so that the other persons understands, interpret it in the right way. So I think these are some things that I trust myself to do with my team, and for now, I think it's really working good. That's how actually I basically do.
Wow. My last question will be for someone looking to build a career in data governance. I'm dividing into two parts, Parswa, by the way. For
Okay.
someone looking to build a career in data governance, what are the must-have skills to thrive in this industry? Those who want to work in the Indian market, first one, and second, to take his career to a global level like you.
Okay. I just because as I said, data governance it should be a centralized body. So I don't want to distinguish between a local region or a global. Maybe whatever you do, it should be an approach that will actually lead you to any global work or something. But the things which would be required for any persons to really start, and there would be many hands-on sessions, by the way. You need to have many hands-on skills to really grow into a certain role. Like most of us have seen that. Like, so I think first and foremost thing for anyone really wanted to start a career in data governance, I'll talk about the very bare minimum things that should have is understanding data, the fundamentals of data management. Like you need to have a solid understanding of data management principles. This should include your data quality dimensions. You need to understand about the metadata concepts. You need to understand about a data life cycles. How a life cycle of a data goes. Probably that should be a fundamental that needs to really have you to really start building a career in data governance. Other than that, I think you should have a very good problem solving skills. Uh, the more the ability to have really to find out issues, go to the deep root cause and identify and provide the solutions, I think that should be really help you to achieve further in your career. If you're working in certain regulatory, like now we have many regulators, but maybe I'll touch few of them, like GDRP for Europe, and CCPA for California, and then there's one which is HIPAA, which is I think Health Insurance for Payability and Accounting Act, which is related to your health insurance. Like if you are having any health issues, how you make sure your policies or your information related to health are not being shared across. Regulatory, I mean to say about the regulatory knowledge should be there. Of course, by now I think we have in India also, which is known as DPDP, Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which started in 2023, which is helping to make sure that your data are actually private and these are not accessible. So yes, regulatory knowledge is one thing. Other than that, I think you should really have good communication skills, because though it's not the way of really speaking English or any other language. What I mean by communication skills is to really articulate any complex data concepts when you are doing these things, because your audience will maybe a business person or it may be a truly technical person. So you need to have those communication skills that you can translate the data knowledge to these different audiences. Then you should have good knowledge about stakeholder management, understanding the ability of various departments, managing relationship with key stakeholders across the organization. Other than that, I think there would be some hands-on session, which I think you will anyways gain when you are actually working, probably kind of the change management, the risk management, project management, technical skill. I think this will all come when you are working in many things, business acumen, continuous learning. I think continuous learning is something that you have to do, because in this generation of technology, if you are really not up with the technology, you will be left out far behind in the race. So I think these are some kind of hands-on skills that I think individuals should possess when they are thinking of building a career in data governance, by the way.
Wow. I got a little curious to ask you this question before you go to your personal journey round. As you said in the earlier conversation, executive buy-in is necessary. So, how do you maintain a healthy working relationship with different key stakeholders? At data is very critical and important, and data governance eh, to explain to them and to have a buy-in. So all different stakeholders come to one page, and what you're trying, the KPIs or the goals are achieved.
Uh, I think I would just like to make it very simple because you need to align with the organizational strategy, business strategy. What is the thing that is they want to achieve? And, in achieving those strategies, what is the role as a data governance, as an enabler of data? We can help it. So I think if you are clear with the business strategies, you know how to really reach your goal. So it becomes easy to really make sure that you have the right plan of data. So I think for the executives, you just need to make sure you have a proper plan. Like how do you want to execute, implement those things to achieve the end result, which is a data-driven culture. So that makes easier. There would be, there may be some technical questions which I think we may not need to go right now, but yeah, there should be kind of a proper project charter that explains the cost, the funds, the ownerships, and everything. So I think if you are clear what you need to achieve, I think the rest will just follow.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next round and understand Paraswa as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Okay. I have been married for 10 years. I would say happily married for 10 years, and I actually have a daughter of 7 years old. My parents had a successful career. I think my dad, he retired from BSNL uh, uh, some time back. He retired as a senior divisional engineer. He used to take care of many divisions, and my mother retired as a chief manager from State Bank of India. Other than that, I have two older sisters. Both of them are happily married. I have two brother-in-laws and three nieces, nephew and niece. So yeah, I think it's a really good family to have around everyone in here, and and I draw many knowledge from my brother-in-law. By the way, he is kind of
Hmm.
a really person well versed with many knowledges. So I think he really inspires me, and make sure that if I'm stuck somewhere, so he is there to really assist. Coming back to my formative years, so I'll start with from a very young years because, and I told you I was a sportsman before that. So because we grows up in late 80s and early 90s, in those times I think we have so much time, right? We were not in this generation where mobiles and digital world was there, so we have ample of time, and I as an individual really wanted to play any form, maybe cricket, football, anything. You just give me to play, I'm gonna be there. So I think it was really good. I enjoyed playing more than studies, to be honest. But that doesn't mean I was not a good student. So actually, I had, I would not say a very successful, but I would say still a very good, decent record in studies. I did my post graduation from finance. And yeah, unlike the Gen Zs or the Zen Beta, to be honest, right now, 2025, everything is like, Zen Beta. They are now very digital. Like, in fact, in my daughter, I can see like they are like more into technologies than rather going out in those playgrounds and play. So I think I actually had a good memory when I was a child playing and just enjoying my life.
Wow. So, Paraswa, when you're not managing data in teams, what's your go-to way to unwind after a long day?
Mm. Uh, it's hard to say when I'm not doing well because I'm in a global role, and I see myself waking up sometimes at 6 a.m. taking Australia calls, and like late night at 11 p.m. and taking Australia US call in the middle of the day. I'm working with Europe. But yeah, I think when I'm not working, I generally go for some long walk, listen to
Mhm.
some music, and just unwind myself. Or if I'm not going for a walk, I will go for a swimming. So I think these kind of activities are kind of me time and just to make sure that I unwind myself and recharge in the best way that I could.
Wow. So, Parswa, what's one hobby or passion that people might be surprised to learn about you?
I don't think so there's any, but maybe probably some of them may not know that I'm actually a good cook too. I actually cooks, but now I don't get enough time to cook. But whenever I just feel that I have some time, I generally go to the kitchen and say and ask my wife that what do you want to eat. So, and she likes my cooking, by the way, and I just try to make cook food which I really like. And yeah.
Wow. So, what's a book, movie, or TV show that has had a big impact on you, and what were the learnings?
Mm. Honestly, neither, but let me tell you, because I really admire real life protagonists. But as I said, I'm more into the sports because and some of the sportsmen have really impacted me to really evolve in the camp. I don't know if you watch football or cricket, but I'm gonna give you a couple of examples who are kind of I think they are really making big impacts, not just in the industry they are in, but actually across many things like Lionel Messi. Let me take probably Messi, and most of us do. So this guy has have have lived the entire football. So he has won everything that he needs to have in his cupboard. But I think until 2016, he was desperate to win trophies for his national side, Argentina. He had many trophies before that with his clubs, by the way. But 2016, Argentina were reaching finals of almost every major cups. I think 2000 until 2016 they were just losing everything, and he thought of a way that maybe I'll just retire. But he never gave up, and that's the time Argentina start dominating back the whole world of football. 2021 they won the Copa America Cup. 2022 they won the Finalissima with Italy. 2022 he had his massive one, that is the World Cup. 2024 he again won back the Copa America. So the thing is like that, if you want to put someone as really impact, I want to see a person who actually makes big impact with the way that they approach those things. So I think I really drive myself, and I really wanted to follow a role model like Lionel Messi, who sets really high standards about the things that he wants to do. Even in cricket, like Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli, like Rohit Sharma after a loss in 2022, he said, "Oh, we should really change the template that we used to play cricket." I don't think so. The way we are playing is actually we are getting to finals, semifinals, but we are losing. What is the one mistake that we are doing? So he find out probably, we need to change the intent that we are playing. Probably we need to be more fearless. We need to be showing more intent, and let's dominate the other side. Once he started to, follow certain templates, being a leader, being a captain, he is saying that, okay, I'm going out as an opener. I make sure I dominate. You just need to follow me. Whether you're going out for a zero or you're scoring 10, doesn't matter. Just you need to come up with a fearless attitude. Right? That these kind of inspiration things really change those things, and it definitely makes a big impact. And that's why I said, I really admire the real life protagonists that people are. And but if you still want me to answer about a movie, I would say a series called Game of Thrones that I watched way back is one of the really liked series that I watched purely because of the survival instincts. Because you don't know at the end of the episode who is going to survive or not. Who survive at the end, who actually will win the throne. So I think it was a really good series that I watched. Vikings being the another one, I would say.
Wow. So, Parswa, we know you have worked across different global markets. Which city has been your favorite and why?
This is the toughest one, I would say. because there will be people listening to me across the globe. And yeah, so I think every city or countries that I have visited have their have its own charm, its own diversity and its own ethnicity. Uh, uh, because of the culture, it makes different from the one another. But if you really press me for an answer, I would say I did like to mention that I recently had the opportunity to visit Berlin in Germany, and I really found the city very fascinating because of the rich, the heritage, the historical things which is attached there, and like it has more museums than any other country. I think it has uh, more than 100 museums there. And the freedom of the people, I think that's amazing. The people right there. And I was actually flying from Paris to Berlin. And due to some technical challenges, the flight from Paris did not took on time because this was in the time of the Olympics because there were some air shows going on because of which the entire traffic was put on hold. And after 1.5 hour, 2 hours, we were allowed to really fly, and we were on flight. And the flight was supposed to be taking 1 hour, 30 minutes, but I think we reached in, let's say, 1 hour, 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Why? I'll tell you the reason. Because in Germany, or in Berlin specific, you are not allowed to land anything beyond 12 a.m. because they feel it disturbs the whole civilization. Because if you're flying there, and you are just disturbing the sleeps of individuals, and the pilot was saying that and that's the first thing that I learned, that he says, we have landed 1 minute prior to the curfew. I said, what is this curfew? Because if we have landed 1 minute after 12, we would have again asked back to fly back to Paris. So I think those things really makes this city very interesting, and the vibe and atmosphere is really amazing.
Wow. Okay. So, from the world of data governance, who do you has inspired you, and what were the learnings?
World of data governance, like who has inspires me as a like role model in this role.
Role model, influence, or inspiration?
Yeah, I think there are many, but probably few of them who have who I have this really an opportunity to work with them are uh, the first, the global executive that I work with. He is in US right now, who is known as Ho Chun Ho. The other one is actually Nabila Hajkali, who was my former manager in this organization. And of course, I cannot, forget about my current manager. She is literally amazing to work with. Her name is Justina Malaskar. She is in Poland. So I think these leaders, they understand you, and they really give you kind of the freedom to really, make sure what is your plan, and if they trust you. And I think they really play a key role in and believing me, and seeing me where I am today. I think they have a really a major role to play in my career, by the
Wow. So, what are your goals for 2025 personally and professionally?
way. uh, Personally, I think I am more focused right now on the health, to be honest, because I think with uh, with working in certain stress environment, we sometimes tend to forget about the health. So I think it's very important. It's a wake up call that everyone who is working in corporate cultures, like where you are working in environment where sometimes it might take you burnout. So I think it's very important to take breaks, make sure your health is in good conditions. So I think that's something that everyone should really focus on about themselves. Take care of yourself. That is something really that I want to do, and I started doing that, by the way, in 2024. And 2025, I'm just going ahead and implementing that. And in terms of professional, I would say, yeah, learning more things. Like there's a new concept of agentic AI coming in here. So how do what is the big game changer right now, because this is kind of a big noise making in Silicon Valley about agentic AI. So let's see, where is the future heading towards?
Wow. My last one will be a googly one for you. Describe Parswa in one line.
I can do it in one word. I would say responsible. Responsible because in many terms, I would say responsible as a leader, responsible as a father, responsible as a husband, responsible as a son. I think that's the thing that I have been doing, and probably I'll just keep on doing the things the way I see.
Wow. Let's have some fun. The rapid fire round. Uh, your guilty pleasure snack.
Guilty pleasure snacks. I'm not into so much of fast foods now, but I would still say biryani.
Early morning meetings or late night brainstorming.
Both. I think because my roles right now in this situation, but initially I used to be a very kind of evening person, but now with my daughter going to schools, I have to make sure that I wake up early. So yeah, so I would say
I can
both.
understand. Your, your favorite color.
uh, Blue and black.
Wow. A dream destination you haven't visited yet.
Kashmir in India, and I want to explore UK. I had the opportunity 1 year back, but I was because of some reason I have to cancel. But yeah, in India, we say it's in heaven or not, but unfortunately, I was in Delhi for like 14 years, but I have never got the opportunity to visit that. Probably I'll just want to visit that once.
One word that describes your leadership style.
Uh, Accountable. Because I just
Your
said
go-to,
responsible. I just want to say responsible again.
your go-to comfort food.
Again, I will say biryani, the guilty pleasure.
Wow. A song that always lifts your mood.
Many, I would say, but I'll go back to classics. Any classics from Mohammad Rafi or from Kishore Kumar from the past.
Wow. Sorry. Best piece of advice received.
Self-motivated. That's something my manager used to say me. And I think the another one which I have received is focus on the things that you can control. Don't overthink. I think that's I will surely remember, because most of us do most of the times we overthink. I think we need to just focus on the things that can be controlled, right? We should not really think. So I think that's a really nice piece of advice.
Wow. Okay. Best food dish you cook.
It's always non-veg food. Because I cook, by the way, I cook good dal makhani, but I would say uh, mutton, mutton curry.
Wow. Tea or coffee? What fuels your work days?
Coffee, and that too double shot espresso. I'm not into milk right now, but yeah, it's more into it's coffee, but it's decaf. I don't take the caffeine. I take the decaf. But yeah, it's like a double shot.
Wow. So you did well, and here's a book which will be
Thank
autographed.
you.
Thank you. So, friends, it was a lovely, humorous conversation having with Parswa. This episode is all about who wants to venture into data governance and management. Continuous watch the episode, a lot of insights to manage a cross-cultural team and his journey. And if you want to be invited to have a Paraswa's mutton curry, you'll have to comment on the YouTube channel and he will invite. And I'll also join in because I am also a foodie. And mutton curry with the naan, wow, I'm just relishing the taste. So, friends,
Surely.
like this, there are interesting conversations with 350 plus coffee speakers who have shared their journey, the expertise. Watch, subscribe, implement in your lives, and you would definitely have a more beautiful life. And if you want to be invited like Parswa, visit our LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, our website, fill in the form, and we would have coffee conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you.